Anyway, back here in the bush is Ethan's dad's 68 F100, 3-speed, inline 6, 240 or 300. I haven't really got a good look at it yet, but it's been back here in the woods, up on blocks, long time. We're gonna try and fire this thing up and bring it on out. So it's definitely farm fresh and parked in the woods here for a really long time. See if I can get around all the poison ivy and whatnot here. Obviously I took a tree on the roof, pop that back out. Pretty rotty, but should be awesome if we can get this dug out of here. Obviously it hasn't moved in an extremely long time. So anyway, we're gonna get working through this thing, and hopefully, like I said, we're gonna drive this thing right on out of here. Should be a fair amount of work, but completely within reason. So you just can't kill these old vehicles. A little bit of work and she'll be cranking again. Taking a look at the engine here. Obviously it's pretty crusty. Ethan's got all his spark plugs out here, and if I grab onto the fan, everything seems to turn, so the engine's definitely not stuck, so that's good news. So right now we're dumping some automatic transmission fluid down the spark plug holes, kind of let stuff soak, get some lubrication in the cylinders, and then keep on working through it. Luckily we can turn it over by hand with the fan there. That's what she needs. 1, 2, 3. Got any mice stuff up in the...
We did, yeah.
Oh, there's some. There you go. That air cleaner's mint. You could put that right back on. That's fine.
Well, it's gonna go right back on right now.
Oh boy.
Don't got nothing else to do, so. It's actually spinning pretty freely.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, yeah, we'll cut a chunk of that off, stick it on, and plug it, because that had to have been mice getting to that. Alright, plug in the coolant lines with the old spark plugs. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. So we're going to pull our thermostat out here, scrape this all off, and we'll just run with no thermostat because I'm sure that's seized up. Getting closer. Coolant lines are all plugged. Got this doped up again. We don't have a thermostat, and for one, 195 is way too hot of a thermostat, but for two, there's no reason all the rust and junk in there, it would just get caught behind the thermostat and plug it up anyway. So just for firing it up and putting it around purposes, I think this will do just fine. All right, got the carb bolts out. Carburetor's free. It's got a little bit of rust in it, but down at the bottom looks like it was good and sealed. The throttle linkage moves good, so we're in good shape there. Ethan's wiring up kind of a starter ignition switch, so I'm sure the one inside, you know, mice have been in there, who knows. So got a little industrial switch we're going to try and use. Alright, we're just about ready to see if the engine will turn over. So Ethan's getting the old terminal corrosion kind of sanded out of there. We got our switch wired up, so when it's flipped we got direct power to the coil, and I've pulled a plug wire off here, put it on the coil, and then put the spark plug on a ground. Ironically, it's the fuel pump, but shouldn't be any fuel in it, so should be fine. So hopefully we see some spark, and if we do, we can move on from there. But if not, I'm sure those points and all that are throated up pretty good, but hopefully we can see some spark and spray some carb cleaner down this engine and see if it's worth our time to try and get it running, really.
I walk that. Who cares?
All right, you want to bump her over there? Like you said, turn the engine over a bit. Turn the engine over a bit. That Bindex gear isn't either not coming out or not making connection there, so get her in a different position. Hit her again. You know what that means? You have to go down there and hit it with a hammer. Here's your implement of bashing. See if we can unstick it. Just hit that sucker as hard as you can. Alright, bump her over. That should have got her. Look at that. Oh, we should probably move our tools. We're throwing all of our ATF. Alright, light her off. Oh yeah, look at all that flying out of there. All over the distributor. Perfect, perfect. Be good and lubed up now. Alright, so we're testing our coil because you know, we weren't sure if we were getting spark through it and we were having a hard time being able to tell, so we got our makeshift key switch on. And
so right now what we're doing is the condenser, or the coil goes through the points off the ignition switch. Your coil gets hot power from your ignition switch here, and then goes through the windings of the coil and then out on the secondary wire to your distributor. Usually we've just got it hooked up to a spark plug here and grounded out. And so how the coil works is when the secondary wire on your coil goes through your points and the points open up, it loses its ground intermittently, and that way it will discharge all the power from the coil to your distributor to make it fire. So what we're doing is going through and bypassing the point system and basically taking this ground wire, hooking it up to the coil and grounding it out and interrupting it. So you can kind of see there that as we interrupt, it keeps going and sparking through the spark plug. So that means the coil is good on this truck and we should be able to hook it up and run.
Alright, so we've eliminated the coil as a problem. We've never really popped the cap off here to take a good look, but it's got some pretty nasty corrosion there on the points. So we're going to get that sandpapered off and then put our cap back on and see if we can get some spark through a plug wire now going through the coil and the distributor as well. Alright, so we verified that we had a problem with our points and condenser. We tried to sand it up, but obviously, you know, we just weren't getting fire across it. So now we got a new set in here, a new condenser, new points. So what we're going to go ahead and do is set our point gap. Now normally you have it set at 17 thousandths. The spec is somewhere within there, but we don't have that today, so we have a little business card and it's about 17 thousandths thick or so. So what we're going to do is get the engine, turn it over by hand here as we got no plugs in, get it up on one of these high points here, and we're just going to simply push it up against it and get our body spaced out here. Slip this business card in if we can, and now we'll tighten down our two screws here and we should be good to go. So when you tighten them up, you want to make sure that that body stays in line. This one's got a little more play, but anyway, that's pretty much it. Alright, got everything hooked up here, new points and condenser in it, and now we go ahead and bump our engine over. You got some spark. Perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and stick all our plugs back in, shoot a little carburetor cleaner down the intake, and see if we can get some fire out of her. Alright, got all our crusty old plug wires hooked back in. Got some carb cleaner here. We're going to spray it in the intake, see if we can get this engine to light off. So I guess let's see what she does. Holy crap. It's gonna run. Rebuild the carburetor, get a fuel pump on it, and I think we'll be in good shape. So that's amazing. Sitting in the woods and the weeds for 17, 20 years. Amazing. We gotta do it a few times.
We'll just keep spraying it in there.
Come on, battery. And there goes the ignition coil. So, alright. Well, guess we're done for the night, but that's encouraging. I think definitely get the carburetor straightened out and fuel pump, get a makeshift gas tank rigged up, and this thing will actually be running.